I'm going to make it so you can see it. I'm holding up the milk. And this is for all of you there. Okay, and I'm going to do this for everybody in a little while. I think I'll do it again. I'll do it on the phone tree late when I do after the broadcast I'm doing. I think that's the best thing. But I have them all right here. All the milk and the budding blooming flowers and the heart light and the cakes are all here for everyone. I'm going to leave a longer message on the phone tree in probably within an hour. And there's someone here who wants to say hello to you. Her name is Sima, that on another line. Hold on one second. Hi. Okay. She's from somewhere there in Chicago, and I want to bring you together more women, and you'll hear more of that on the other line. So check the other line in an hour. There's a little bit of a message there now, and on all the lines.
To send your message, press 1 at any time. Message sent. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
Celestial and God. No. Words. Words. I should have said the poet. So beautiful.
My family, your family, our family is filled with poetesses and poets, healers, artists, anthropologists, sociologists, psychologists,
as much as
healers,
physical,
Co-Secretary General Sarah's Equinox Drew Hughes. As soon as they co-broadcast with me, with each other.
As our spiritual, genealogical, local, global, universal, Voyager, and shared her and his family community enterprise. Our new year's mission to rediscover and re-understand, sustain, and explore all and all are in fact familiar new worlds of family community, of the tree of love, life, and light throughout the solar system and universe, to restore, renew, and sustain our annual life and new sustainable civilizations, past, present, retroactively, and now, rebelling, and future, always balancing, to loving GSR logically, remotely, become, and be space-time travelers, wherever and where we have, interdimensional reality, arriving part of the form, but also forever the form, and alternative space-times that are circles, which are of the universal EQ, IQ, and SQ continuum, balanced combinations of the ever-expanding circle which spirals and grows, budding and blooming in space-time. Love and live enlightened, ever young, loyal, and prosper all both in each. and everyone. Engage your heart, mind, soul, and body. For we all, both and each, with each, both and all, can, must, and marvelously and miraculously make it so. In the thunderous blast, she emerges, her eyes on fire, the mighty priestess. She is risen from the nativity of God. She is risen from the fires of the earth. She is risen. She is risen. We are risen. She is risen. She is risen. We are risen.
We are risen by my intercession and all your cooperation as Co-Secretary General's Co-Savior Oz. Equinox Tree Q's.
महालक्ष्मी मृडप्रिया महारूपा महापूजा महापातकनाशिनी महामाया महासत्त्वा महाशक्ति महारथी महाभोगा महेश्वर्या महावीर्या महाबला महाबुद्धि महासिद्धि महायोगीश्वरेश्वरी महातंत्र महामंत्र महायंत्र महासना महायागत्रमाराध्या ओम महाभैरवपूजिता महेश्वर महाकल्पक महातांडव साक्षिणी महाकामेशमहिषी महात्रिपुरसुन्दरी चतुष्षष्टि उपचाराद्या चतुष्षष्टि कलामयी महाचतुष्षष्टि कोटि योगिनी गणसेविता
Celestial event. No. What's God, I should have said no.
My family is filled with poetesses and poets, artists, healers, musicians,
Look at me, just
anthropologists, co-secretary generals, COFEDERATION, EQUINOX, True Qs, FaceTime travelers from this planet, on this planet, and all throughout our universe with love powers.
This day I call the heavens and the earths as witnesses intercessorily for and hopefully and prayerfully not against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Now choose love and life with light, so that you and your children may live. For I give you good doctrine, forsake ye not our new millennial law.
Okay. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe better name Sunflower or Cherokee and Blackfoot. This is Anna Marie singing Christmas, and I am Cherokee, Cheyenne, Blackfoot, and Alabama, Dakota. And I am also a French, English, and German. Create IoT. That means we are all related. We embrace the new millennial golden rule as the law of all sustainment of the sacred ground that is Mother Earth and all the planets of all the universes.
We're meditating on what to share with you at the moment. We have many things going on many branches of our family. And I'm giving some thought. Enjoy the screen share. We'll be right back with you. Okay, we're going to do some of our ceremony in stereo, and hold on while we arrange that. Obviously, I've been doing these broadcasts pretty much solo for a number of weeks. We had a few broadcasts that were done by Anne-Marie and Ma Patricia, and we had one that was done by Raza and Zvilia Raza and Raza Jimbutas. And I then started making invitations to a whole bunch of women who have expertise in the areas that you know are related to this. And I got kind of bogged down with the time pressures of both doing the broadcasts and preparing these invitations and keeping up connection with the family members who I think are most important to co-broadcast here. So everything got in a delay mode, and that's what happens when there is no teamwork and there's only one person doing too many things. It sets it behind in time. And during that time, women set themselves up for big trouble in terms of the yin-yang balance by not acting. And so young people are affected by this. And what comes into that situation is a preponderance of yang in the larger society and all around them. When women are not contacting properly, the yang force gets overwhelmingly large. And it is dangerous to people. This is all about yin and yang. And if you don't have enough yin going on, the yang force becomes insidious. And it doesn't only mean dangerous in the way of, a cannonball coming through your window. It can also mean the wrong technologies are being used. The women, when they do gather, are gathering in hierarchical contexts, usually at the definition of what their job is or their effort is to be is done by men, often older men in our corporate society, and therefore they are subverted into enablers of a yang process. That further diminishes the yin, and then they have less and less time for one another, and that actually backfires on the older men too, because it destroys their world, and the world becomes colder or more extremely hot in the way of global warming. It becomes dangerous with the wrong technologies, such as the Fukushima accidents. That is exactly what happened in Japan. The women are not there when the decisions are made on the technological decisions, and so this is what happened. And also there's a big problem now in terms of our impact on our very important and beautiful creatures that keep our food cycle going. When women are not acting in connection with each other, they are abandoning Mother Nature, because sisterhood is an aspect of Mother Nature. So the world that they live in then has a very depleted Mother Nature. It's like, destroying Mother Nature on this planet. Now, Mother Nature is bigger than one planet. She's on all the planets that have life, and there's probably a lot of them. And certainly she's a huge force of the universe. The universe couldn't exist without the yin force. It's impossible. But when women are not gathering here, it sets up this gap. And now we've had a gap way too long in our society. We are the only place that doesn't have balance of love and work at some good level. Most countries have at least a year paid family leave. Many in Europe have 2 to 4 years, and in some 8 years part-time. And so the situation here is really different and not healthy at all. And that's why we have a lot of very horribly anxiety-provoking things happening right now. We have a huge methane cloud over Los Angeles, another huge methane cloud over New Mexico, and it's getting worse. And as I say, the food cycle everywhere, and then we have the danger of the Fukushima type accidents. Because the people who are running the plants are stressed. And the Mother Earth is also being stressed, because in some places, although some places have outlawed fracking, not all of them have. So you have earthquakes setting off at different places around North America. It could trigger a New Madrid Fault earthquake. The ones in Oklahoma could trigger the ones in Illinois. It's all connected, and it has to do with the way our society runs. It's what our society is not doing right, and what's not being done right is the divine feminine. Our feminism is a masculinized dronification of women. It obsessed itself with abortion and did not deal with representation of balance of love and work, and the full empowerment of protection of Mother Nature by all people. That's not only women but men, because men also have X chromosome. They relate to Mother Nature. They're a part of Mother Nature. They have to be, or they have no future either. So this is what's going wrong. Now, you know that I am preparing kind of a hearing that is a judgment of patriarchy. I had that kind of material on our website long ago. 5050now.wordpress.com is a judgment of patriarchy. Every essay on there is a judgment of patriarchy, as well as a guidepost to parity culture, egalitarian culture, sustainable culture. So everything that's there that you have been ignoring, too many of you, would explain this to you. But I have come to understand that this is the irony of it all, that I in part caused this situation. because I did not know who I was or what my mission was for most of my life. And therefore, the decisions I made when I was living in a very conventional way and not calling myself ASZTREA, the goddess of Atlantis, and not calling myself, as I am, and as all of us are, descendants of all the major families of all the major faiths, and also, in my situation, a reincarnation of the wife of the inventor of television, and another reincarnation, I believe, in part of the mother of Carl Alexander Sagan, Lynn Alexander Margulies Sagan's husband, her first husband, before she married into the family of computer crystals and solar panel crystals, because that's what she married into. So now we can discuss, we can pretend we don't understand the connections here, but that's a silly thing to do. Now, I want all of you to know that your names are very important. And I have been saying them in many of the ceremonies, but I feel uncomfortable now saying your names for you when you are not coming. I also say the names of many of these great and grandmothers, as you know, but some of you, and particularly some more than others, have a mother wound, and I also haven't quite fully disseminated these lines yet, all of these phone lines, to all of the family clearly enough. And I need to do that again too, because there are some people who may not have access to a computer, or might want to pick up the phone anyway and get a message and listen to it on a recording, and that's okay too. But what I also know is that the lack of gathering has created a crustiness, a rustiness among women that's almost acidic. It's almost like a toxic quality now, that women are avoiding each other. People who have mother wounds often had a negative experience with a mother, because patriarchy does produce that, as well as negative experiences with fathers. It does both. And I can explain that to you. But it does both. And it alienates children from both their parents and from their larger extended family. And especially their Shekinah family is under patriarchy, very divided and not able to bring forth the best nurturing qualities of culture. And so some of you, many of you, have this problem. And now I'm going to be doing a very clear description, including some of the people in my family, but not to embarrass them. This is not to embarrass anybody. The people of our culture are suffering. Even the people who think that they're on, quote, top are suffering. They're suffering because many of them don't know what a love bond is. And they don't know the experience of the, well, what psychologists have called the oceanic or universal feeling that love brings forth in a person. They don't know what it is. I have a friend who is an environmentalist, who's very much a feminist. Actually, it's a man. And he said it's like women who don't know what an orgasm is. That's the way these CEOs don't know what love is. They don't know. They don't know what it is. And so they're at a deficiency. They're functioning at extreme deficiency, and they have women around them who are extremely deficient also, because they also have the mother wound and may also have a father wound and a father hunger that's very extreme. So this is a process that's social psychological, and it's anthropological, produced by all the practices of patriarchy. What are the practices of patriarchy? Well, for one thing, in other cultures, like the Hispanic cultures and the Dutch cultures and many around the world, when upon marriage, people do not lose their mother's maiden name. They keep it. And the husband takes it too. But in our part of the world, that's illegal for a man to do in all but 9 states, according to what they call states. We can throw that out of the window. We're living in a global time now. We don't have to worry about states. We're living in the Confederation time. But that's the way we have set ourselves up on a now outmoded model. And we have to have a new model for our families, for our communities, and for our decisions of democracy. Or the whole thing will become unlivable for most of the people on this planet very quickly, and eventually unlivable for everyone. It will just kill the planet. No matter how well protected the 1% thinks it is, it will not be. If anybody remembers the old, I forget the program, there was a science fiction program. They used to show how a few people would be left after a nuclear holocaust or something, and 1 or 2 people would be left, and it was horrible for them. They didn't want to go on. This is what we're producing right now under patriarchy, so we have to change it. Now, it isn't that hard to change. A simple gathering of women to say that we are co-secretary generals, co-saviors, and anointing our youth, females and males, aged 37 and younger, thereabouts, as quickly as possible, will take care of that problem. Because that is the signal that the goddess God, who is in all of us, is watching and waiting for and listening for. And you have to understand that it's like a hologram. If one group of people does it, it spreads. It spreads as a positive ripple effect instead of a negative one. It spreads as a positive ripple effect. And that gives eternal life on this and every planet to everyone. In other words, we develop the proper technologies, we can connect to other planets, we can open up the stargates. I was reading more about that. It isn't that far out that people think that this is possible. It is possible because it's the nature of space-time and the way the universe is put together. It's like a big hologram. And so now, right now, our universe is a matrix. It's very crushing, especially on women and young people. And those who don't identify this problem within themselves and are going along with it become very, very, they can become very mean, or they can become very passive, or they can have other kinds of complications that show up, that they're not in balance. They're not in balance, and the people that they're interacting with are not in balance. So that's why it's so important that you come. Now, I am going to say the names of the great and grandmothers' gens lines. That's the generations' names of some of the family, various groupings. I'm not going to go into the names of anyone beyond the great and grandmothers who are past. I will just say the names. I will refer to their sisters and cousines, because I want to make sure that I have done a proper job of disseminating this properly. And there's also something else that I am doing, which is the hearing. I am holding a hearing, and I'm holding several males of our family system that I know of through my activities with you all that have been practicing patriarchy. I've written some of them online, and I've written some of them in letters over the years. And I, for the most part, did not get a proper response. And what I see happen is that the women do not comment on the fact that the men do not give a proper response. They apparently expect men to be disrespectful to them. They expect men to be uncaring, callous, or aggressive. And that expectation feeds those qualities in men, older men particularly, and they develop a hubris around it. And the women then separate themselves and divide themselves, and some will get along with those men and others will not, or will avoid those men. But ultimately, that division of the women creates a propellant for this process to continue. And now we're at the end stage of that. It will kill our planet, it will kill everybody on it. It means that there's a runaway reaction of yang. And that's what we have going on. Now, it can look quiet on the surface. You just have to think about how ordered Nazi Germany was on the surface. Now, of course, they completely failed and they destroyed themselves. And they took down a lot of innocent victims. But those victims also were practicing patriarchy. So none of them were fully innocent in the eyes of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, because the Mother, Father, Goddess, God knows that the mother is always present, as well as the father. And that's one of the reasons, too, why I feel uncomfortable saying your names when you've had so many invitations to come to these broadcasts and you haven't been coming, because you're not only desecrating your name, you're desecrating the name of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God that's within you. And that is something I don't want you to do. So that's why when I do this ceremony now, I'm going to be very careful to just allude to you and say I am acting as intercessory for all of my sister Kazinas and all my young Shekinahs, all my Shekinahs and all my sister Kazinas and all of my sisters. You're all sister Kazinas, are sisters, just a few steps removed on the tree. And all of my youth, females and males, my Shekinahs and my Hikinas, age 37 and younger, first go first as coming to this ceremony, most importantly. You need to come, and you're not coming does endanger you. I can be absolutely straight with you about that. It is endangering you. I have no way around it. If you do not protect yourself from your own lackadaisicalness and avoidance or fortressing or whatever you're doing or denial about this, I cannot protect you very well. But I am available to you. You can call me 24/7. However, I also need to say to you that when women don't gather, they create the kind of situation that you see in the Middle East. Only in our part of the world, it would take more likely a technological danger. In the Middle East, the men are out of control. They're mass raping women. They're doing a lot of things that are very frightening, even to other men. Really, really very frightening. Now, it's up in flames. In our part of the world, it's not flaming, but it's seeping into the ground. It's seeping into what people do as energy sources. It's seeping into the way they think and relate to each other so that kids can't go to school without being bullied anymore. It's seeping into everything like a cancer of yang. That's why it's so important that you come. Now, I want to make a clear commitment to you. There are about, 4 or 5, I don't know, I think it's about 5 men in our family who I know their personal actions and inactions, both regarding parity and respect for women within their families and respect for women in general, were the precipitants to the kind of runaway reaction we have now in yang in our society. That our family was important enough that when these men didn't do the right thing and women did call them on it and even abetted them to not do the right thing in some situations, because a lot of women who are adjusted to patriarchy kind of egg men into putting other women down. They think that gives them some level of safety. It actually doesn't over time, but it seems like it would. So a lot of women do that under patriarchy. And that's why it's so dangerous, because it ripple effects. And then you have at the larger level of the society this terrible situation that we now have environmentally and socially, or the potential of nuclear holocaust, the potential of Fukushimas, the potential of avalanches, and like they had at the time when Atlantis started to lose their best ways, an eruption of volcanoes. We are sitting on all of those potentials, but we can change them. Now, where I lagged, I told many of you that I would hold men responsible, and you've seen me put very prominent people on the website as holding them responsible, not only men, but women. Okay, I've done that. But what I didn't do quite enough of was holding the men of my own family, and particularly where I went wrong, and this is absolutely true. I was prematurely egalitarian. I tried a marriage before it was ready. In doing so, I hurt not only myself, but all the people involved. And it was because I was not recognizing the depth of patriarchy and how an important step, as my sister gave me the book called The Lace Readers, that important important part of the lace is the gathering of women. And that if that doesn't happen, the women lose their ability to do it, they become rusty. And then you have a really, really runaway situation. And that is what we have. So I am trying to uphold the place for you to gather in an easy way, in a simple way, with all of the various branches of our family and family and community. I'm not only including family, but neighbors and colleagues and friends, because they're actually all interrelated, especially many of us share similar heritages. They're all related. You are all related. I just recently discovered, I will say, I want everyone to know this because I think it's important, and I found it in a moment, not a moment too soon, that Georgine, who is the neighbor to my sister, has on her family tree some of the most famous women in goddess theology. It is not a coincidence, and they are her cousinas. And I'm going to try to introduce them to her and to all my family. Now, Ma Patricia and Anna Marie have done a lot of work for you, and you ignored them. And so our culture is generally ignoring a lot of Native American women, and the situation there is very, very dire. And we really need to think clearly that this land that we are on was originally for many millions of years occupied by Native American women and men, well, women and youth and children and men. And what has happened to them is now happening to us because we forgot what happened to them. And there's other groups within our society too that have been particularly harmed by patriarchal hierarchy, and I'm sure you can think of who they are. And of course, it happens to many of the people of the Semitic heritage in Europe. When they went to Europe, they were harmed by the same process, patriarchy. So I'm going to do the ceremony. I do want you to watch it. I am doing it online. You should watch it on the computer. It's better than just hearing this. I would like you to see the heart light and the milk and the budding blooming flowers, the marvelous budding blooming flowers, and the heart light and the milk and all of that. You need to see it. You need to know it is happening on your behalf. But I have overstayed my intercessory role. I know that. I haven't been able to flip the system because I didn't hold the men accountable enough. And that's the problem. And none of you have. So I'm sitting here with the weight of Yang heavy upon me. And pretty soon you might lose my ability to do this in one way or another. Goddess God may say, you know, she took too long, she didn't pull it off. And Goddess God might say, she's done. Then you'll be in a terrible situation. Then you'll be in a terrible situation and there won't be anyone to save you. I want to save you. I love you all. Mother, Father, Goddess God really loves you, but your behaviors are way out of control. They're cruel and they're unkind, and you're alienating to one another. And as long as that goes on, Goddess God is getting to the point where I tell you, Goddess God will make it so that your situation here is unbearable, is horrible, is much worse than you could have ever possibly imagined, and eventually you will be gone. Because Goddess God is, you know, in the Hindu tradition, there is a goddess by the name of Kali. Kali is quite an angry goddess. She, when things get completely out of hand, she begins to, you know, pull the rug out from under. And you might say the Great Flood, you might say in Judeo-Christian traditions, given as an act of a male god. In Hindu tradition, that would be an act of a female goddess. So it's all the same thing. It means the yin-yang has gotten out of balance. It really doesn't matter whether, you know, which side of the yin and the yang is causing the problem. It is ultimately, and in North America, where we've been profoundly patriarchal, it is the forgetting of the goddess. That for sure would be the case here. So Mother Nature is getting ready to, you know, abandon her children. She might just leave the planet and say, all right, You like eating plutonium? Have it for lunch. You don't like my seeds? You don't like my all the things that I give to you? Then you don't need them, and you won't have them, and you won't have all the creatures that make it possible. I won't let you have them anymore. Because actually you're doing that to yourself because you're not worshiping the feminine aspect of your interactions. So let's do the ceremony. I'm going to do this right now. I'm looking at the screen share. And that's Joni Aurora Feliz is here, and Maria Rainbow Sweetheart is nearby, and they both say hi and hugs to Heather and Jam and Heather and all the furry friends and pets and all the kitty cats. And on behalf of Joni Aurora, Whiskers and Tiger and Holly and Tiger and Buttermilk and Blackie and Buttermilk and Felix. And so we're going to play this tape. And play this tape, and I hope that all the people who would be interested in this do have this number. I think they do, and they can also call me. They know that, but you know, there's a lot of blockage going on there, so we're concerned about that. And I think I have to clean up this problem very quickly in the next day or two. The situation will be unbearable on our planet. I really have to work on this within the next week. I have about a week left before we all begin to pay a terrible price, including me. Okay. Okay, and my darling, yeah. And these sisters are so nice. Joni Aurora Feliz and Maria Rainbow Sweetheart always kiss and hug each other and lick each other. They do a lot of licking, and they lick their fur. Okay, so now we're showing the screen share, and now I'm going to do the ceremony. And again, I believe by tomorrow I should be able to do a full hearing that is not blaming people. There is a line from Star Trek where the Q, it's not the true Q who is the female, but the earlier version of the Q is presented by a male. And he says to the captain of the, well, to the entire crew of the vessel, the universe is a stage and we are all players. He says it. This is what the Q continuum insight is. It isn't just the world that's a stage where we reincarnated and come back in many, many incarnations if we don't get it right the first time. It's the universe. The universe is the stage. And what you do here continues into your next incarnation if you don't become risen here. So if you've screwed up a lot, you should really fix it up now, because right now our world is getting close to an end, and everybody who really screwed up a lot better fix it, or their next incarnation will be terrible. Moreover, we might be able to stop the end of the world if you become risen, and then you will not have this kind of horrific situation here, and degradation. So it's very important that you take this very seriously. If you've been acting in an unloving way to important people in your life, or have gone along with that which you know is not quite legitimate, then you have to take this seriously and know that you have the option of coming to these phone calls and being assisted by other people who will call you, and I will try to work with that. But at this point, I think my more important thing is to do the hearings so that the men who are most responsible for the magnetizing of this low self-esteem and division among women are clearer on how they're presenting a danger not only to themselves and their own children, not only to the women that they go along with this process with, but also to their children, to the entire earth, and to everybody, and how that ripple effects and how it did ripple effect and how we are at the end stage now. That's why I really have to, and I want your assistance to hold older men accountable. If you don't do that, they will be rogues, they will be out of control, they will do something sociopathic. And when that happens, there are huge ripple effects, and you know, it spirals and gets worse. It continues like a cancer, and it spreads. So and that's what's going on in the Middle East, but like I say, it's really going on here too. But here it's under the surface of the ground, it's in the environment, it's in the way people are treating each other, the loss of sense of kindness that's going on in this society, that's so extreme. It's never been more extreme than it is right now. So let me do the ceremony. And you saw all the great and grandmothers' pictures there, and you know I say all of the names of the big groupings. So we're talking about Popper, Margulies, Silver Goldenkind. It's originally Silverman. I call it Silver Goldenkind or Kind. Zoll Goldenkind, and Feldmarian. Marian, we are in the month of March and in the season of the Mars. Marzius, not just Mars. Mars was a later name given by the Roman culture. The earlier cultures had Mari, a goddess, a big goddess in a bunch of the cultures. The Middle East, Hinduism, just about every culture has a Ma or a Mari goddess. Amaterasu in Japan, Mara in Latvia. They have loads of Mars and Maras. Maras are all over the world. And Marias and Marias and Maries and all over the world. And that's in our family names. So it is important for us to heed that aspect in March and right around now, and to take a quantum leap forward instead of backward. Because if you continue to hide, you will be causing yourself to take a quantum leap backward, and your society will go with you in a quantum leap backward. And you will have disasters of all kinds, whether they're slow or fast. They will be horrific. So you don't want that. So I'm doing this, and I said, oh, someone's beeping in. I'll be right back with you. Okay, I think I know who that was. I'm coming right back. I'm coming right back. I'm coming right back. Ma Patricia? Hello, darling. You just beeped me. It's Rochelle. Did you hear from the social worker? Neither did I. All right. We're going to follow up on that. I'm going to make sure. Oh, I see. Okay. Well, it's a she. And Don't say it's he. It's a she. It's a he, she at least. And I'm going to follow up with you. Now, I'm broadcasting right now. Do you want to say something? I'll just say, everyone, that this is Ma Patricia calling. I'm broadcasting. I'm telling them. You're calling. I'm a little bit afraid to put the speakerphone on because I'm on the other line also leaving a message. So I have to get back to the other line. But do you want to tell me something, darling? You called it for an important reason. Yes, and I'm going to be working on that all day today and tomorrow. We're going to, I hope within the week, we'll have you in a much better situation, and Anna Marie too. You both need a better situation, deserve much more. You're great leaders of your people. You conveyed the genealogy of millions of women. Right. All right. Well, now I'm going to call you back because I'm on a lot of the line right now and I can't connect them. When I'm doing it this way, I can't connect an incoming call. So I'll call you back. Okay? Okay. Love, and I'll call you right back. Okay, I think we're continuing now, and I'm leaving this message and doing the gens of our family, the Marian, the Feldmarian. We're also including, very importantly, the Goldenbergian line. We're including through Lynn Margulies. We're including, obviously, I keep saying we're important to include the Sweet and the Sagan connection. And we're also including, through them, we're also including some other people in Chicago, Anna Maria and her sister. Well, I'm giving her first name, and I'm forgetting the Jen's name on that. We're including, I think I've said all the major branches, and we're also including everyone who has ever married into, gone to school with, been classmates of, or known, or married, or attempted marriage into these families, all of their Shekinah, all of them, directly at this gathering, through me, because I know these people. What I'm trying to say is my life has been an encounter with many, many Shekinah, and I love them all in a deeper way than people that I haven't yet met, because I was encountering them. And I love them, even though some of them have not been very nice to me. I love them anyway. Because God is God knows that women have been put down and put each other down because they're put down. So I love them, and I'm lifting them up with parity, past, present, and future. So we're going back in time to all of their Shekinahs that ever were from the beginning of time on this planet. And in fact, like the other planets, we're going back and we're saying they had parity from the beginning. They deserve parity from the beginning. We're going to have them to be re-evolved, not held down, not considered less worthy, as they have been for so many generations. Okay. And we are also including all of the young people of these branches. You know who you are. You are included. You are included, and some of you get individualistic calls, and you know. But I don't like the individualistic calls, and I'm really thinking I'm going to do something about that to convey a different message to you. I don't want the individualistic calls anymore. I have to gather you with women in some way. Okay, so let me do the ceremony. We'll do it very quickly. So there's no one I haven't included here, and we say all the different branches and the heritages. We've got the Middle Eastern, the Semitic, we've got the European, we've got the Anglo, we've got the Russian, we've got the Chinese, we've got the African American, we've got the Hispanic, we've got, you name it, we've got it. They're all included because they've all encountered with our family, and they've all been neighbors, friends, something, or and obviously our branches are the very central branches of Europe and the Atlantis region, Mediterranean, and the Middle East. That's our nexus, and France is coming together in the Marian and the Feldmarian family, and also Vedic India. Vedic India, which came through the Roma, also very much important in Romania and Hungary. This is where we were roaming around, and so very important. So I'll say this now, the ceremony. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers and water. Hugs and love to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. The light is on in all our hearts. We have with us marvelous, miraculous, budding, blooming flowers in water. Hugs and loves to all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. And we'll say, Mitakuye Oyasin. That reminds me, let me see if we can get, that was Mom Patricia calling. I'm going to see if we can get her on the line. Hold on. No, her phone is not picking up. She said, I don't know. Her phone goes in and out of accessibility. So right now it didn't pick up. And it said the phone is not set up yet. Sometimes it gives that message. So we didn't get through to her. But she was here on the line a moment ago. Mom Patricia was on the line a moment ago, and just we've been in touch with her. We're trying to get her the kind of recognition that these people should have had a long time ago on this continent. It's absurd what's going on this continent with regards to Native American women. It's just absurd. I can't imagine. These are highly intelligent women who have done great constructive things, highly intelligent things in their community, and there's goofy things going on there in their region and all over the place. So we're working on this, and I believe we will prevail. So so let me say, Mitakuye Oyasin, just as I was about to say it. Namaste. Mitakuye Oyasin, Mitakuye Kose Viral. Kongs on Pox, Ko on Pox culture. Bava l'chaim, shalom, salam, salam, shalom, mir, pace, das vidanya, ubuntu, buenos dias, sayonara, chus, shlan zavag, mir, pace. I'm sure I'm forgetting some of the languages, and we'll say we'll love and live long, will love and live eternally young, longest, and prosper, not just a few who have the delusion that they can do that, but everyone and all. Because all people are creations of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, and they are here because they're supposed to be here. And they're supposed to be learning important lessons while they're here and becoming risen. And so now we'll drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. Especially with some of our women in our family, my sister and some of our sister Kazinas, because she's also a sister Kazina to these other women, and they are to her, and they have sisters too, are experts in both personal and educational ways about the importance of mother-child bonding and how important that is to the entire family system and community and to the world. So they have great gifts to give as co-secretary generals, co-secretaries. In fact, When you think about it, I've now learned the North American culture is not particularly good with regard to breastfeeding compared to many others. There are some others that are also poor, but we are not good. And considering how good we should be. And so this is a very important issue here, and is probably the underlying reason why this culture, one of the big reasons why this culture is not very empathic and is too yang, and the people are moving too fast, but often in the wrong directions. And so we drink the milk of human kindness and throughout life, and then we want to have eternal life, eternally young, like on the Q continuum. So kindness, always, every person has to have kindness and interest and be available and try to make themselves available. And part of our problem is the way we live doesn't even set that up very easily. Most neighborhoods don't have a common gathering place. Our telephone systems, like you just saw, this is so scary to me. An incoming call cannot be created into a three-way call. There's lots of gates and barriers that we have set up for ourselves, and probably not a good thing at all. So pray for all of these people. I pray for them all. I hope God is hearing my prayers and taking them very seriously, because I know that we are at a very dire moment here, and as a culture and all these people. So I drink the milk of human kindness for all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible. As Co-Secretary Generals, CODELLEIVERED, EQUINOX, TRUQs. And we'll drink the water of loving, living planets that will sustain and regain our planet Earth to be, for all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible, and all our planets that will regain, sustain our planet Earth and all our Earth to be, for all, both in each and every one, as soon as possible, past, present, and future, as Equinox, TrueQs, Co-Secretary Generals, CODELLEIVERED. And you're hearing Donia Rothlee and seeing her, but Maria Rainbow, sweetheart, is nearby, and she is very much included. I am not. She's probably having a nap at the moment, but she's very much included, and these are a pair, and we don't disinclude her. She's very included, and I speak her name with great love. A very marvelous, miraculous cat, and so is Donia Rothlee. Let's see. We will celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together, past, present, and future, as Equinox, TrueQs, CODELLEIVERED, Co-Secretary Generals, starting with our autumnal and spring, because they're reciprocals of each other, equinoxes, our spring and autumnal equinoxes, months, all of those months, and then our year's rounds months. Again, because these are within kind of reach of the Marian time, and that's our primary nexus of our family connections, is the March and the beginning of spring, and then also the reciprocals, which are the autumnal months, also are reflecting that. So we'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days as Equinox, TrueQs, CODELLEIVERED, Co-Secretary Generals, and I'll do this again. We'll celebrate and re-celebrate all our birthdays, conception days, name days, and holy days together, past, present, and future, as Equinox, TrueQs, Co-Secretary Generals, CODELLEIVERED. And now I'll do the pictures. Now these are the larger pictures of you. First we do the consciousness currency. Why are these important? Because our money system is a lie. That's why the genuine progress indicator is part of the new millennial golden rule. The greatest economists have come up with the genuine progress indicator so that it is an index of sustainable wealth, not just shot in the flash in the pan and then destroyed everything. Obviously, the arms manufacturers became very wealthy under Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin. So what? It was all gone in about 10 years. They ruined it all. But they kept collecting money, that they caused enormous loss of real wealth. And that's what we're talking about here. Only now we're talking about the entire planet. The accumulation of money under gross domestic product will result in the destruction of planet Earth. So that's why you have to put your pictures on with the genuine progress indicator and the new millennial golden rule. And we've done this with our Shekinahs and all our past Shekinahs, who are the sponsors of this hat store, especially Clara and Ray, the sisters, and Ashera Harriet. And we do include Lilia and all of these branches who are involved in this hat store and who you heard mentioned on the tape. And also, but also all the neighborhood branches. There's other branches that were right near in the neighborhood. We always say Precious Antoinette and Risen Rose and Grandma Popper and Grandma Margulies and Dorothy and Lynn, who is connected to Rachel and Carrie. And so if I've forgotten any names there, you know what they are by now. And we're including Georgine because Goldenberg, because we know that this is also directly connected now too, and in a very important way. And of course, Anna Marie and Ma Patricia are included in this because this is their land, okay? And all of the various families and heritages of all the different kinds of heritages that come into contact with this neighborhood that did and currently do. And also all our current Shekinahs, all our so-called middle-aged women, the mothers and their sisters who are aunts and their great and grandmothers are also included here in this middle section. And then here at the this one is all of them with the Shekinahs and the Hekinahs of the younger generations, age 37 and younger, females and males. Very critically important to the transmission of a new culture into the future to make it stable and sustainable, and also enjoy the gifts that they should be given by their past generations instead of being deprived of them as they are being right now, because our system is so top heavy toward older men that our younger generations are all in debt, and they have a terrible environmental catastrophe that's going on, and the older men are playing games. And this is unacceptable, and it's the aspect of patriarchy, obviously. So you want to change that now. And now here's our big family tree. We love you. I hold you in my heart. I hold you in my heart forever and ever and ever. And I don't want anything bad to happen to any of you. Or to me, so that I can't protect you anymore. While you're not woke up yet. So, I'm showing the pictures. Here, Bubala. No, he can look. Here, you'll be on the little side there. Okay. Okay, and very special branches to me, directly related to the hat home that was the hat gathering place, and also the neighbors nearby. The Independence and Roosevelt area, Interdependence and Risen Roosevelt is what we like to call it, in our hopes for all of you, and our belief in your ability to come through this. And also this young lady's family, Vanessa's family, along with Harlan Rizlov, is Julia Marie and I. And I'm naming us. I guess I can't help, but I'm especially attached to the people I knew as children and grew up with and are close. But I want to, I really can't afford to do that. If I say that, I really also have to say Marion and Hadass. That's too critical. And Stacy, Anastasia, and Cheryl. I cannot leave this group alone as only the focus. That's part of the problem of our society. The nuclear family and atomized family focus is wrong. And it gets us into big trouble if you lose the sense of the extended family tree. So, and of course, I include the other women with their daughters too, Barbara and Rachel Marie and Danielle Juliet. I mentioned some of these as being so important in the maternal child bonding, and Jennifer, Lynn's daughter, and her daughters, and also Mary and Ross, and of course Meredith and Soma. Let me get, before I get to Meredith and Ross, Meredith and Soma, then Meredith and Marion Ross and Meredith and Marcel. All of these are very, very important, but we're not getting their cooperation yet, and that's why you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. So I've got the hand up for Vanessa's family too, and we're saying, and we include in this grouping also Georgine. She's also implied here. She's implied in this grouping. Very important, very close to that group. And then the larger tree. And I do include as Harriet with her sister Ya. We have to include Ya, even though she may be forcing herself to be unincluded right now. I'm not quite sure why, but I have, you know, it's patriarchy, internalized patriarchy. Okay, and we'll start fresh with all of our paradisal parity on all our planets, and we'll say no, 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 no to patriarchal planetocide, plutonium planetocide, and we'll say yes now and retroactively in all of our concepts of all of our family life on this planet that ever was. We'll say yes to parity, paradisal parity. As Equinox, True Q's, Co-Secretary, Co-Secretary General. And we'll just say, we're going to do our supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, all our blessings and all of our greetings of all of our heritages of our earth and our earth's past, present, and future together as Equinox, True Q's, Co-Secretary General's, Co-Savior's. And we'll say all the blessings and all the greetings of all of our heritages of our earth and our earth's past, present, and future as Equinox, True Q's, Co-Secretary General's, Co-Savior's. Now, I am going to do a few individual outreach calls, but more importantly, I want to say to you that the work of preparing, and I've already done some shaming of the men that I have to shame, but not enough. That's the problem. That's really the problem, and I'm slow on it because I'm so busy trying to take care of the women that are not gathering with each other that I'm slow on holding the men accountable. And I don't know if there's something wrong in my process on that, but it has been wrong, and you need to see it. I think some of the women on this group badly need to know that that is done in a significant way, not to demonize other human beings just because they're men or older men. I don't want to demonize human beings, but we all, as the Q says, we all, the universe is a stage and we are all players. And some of these men are currently playing a role. Their current incarnation is playing a role that is very, very dangerous and has been for some time. And I have not received any input from any of you about a number of them. And they're all in the cousin area of all of us. They're all our cousins. So we have to understand this. It's not just my cousins. They're your cousins. They're all of them. And they're connected to our tree. And they have hurt our tree because they're practicing patriarchy and because the women of their families are practicing patriarchy. And that's why it's so dangerous. So the people are not the problem. It's the practice of a certain type of behavior that sets up this hierarchy that becomes a living horror at this time. And so I know this is happening, and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm praying to Mother, Father, Goddess, God. I think Mother, Father, Goddess, God has given me to the end of the month. I pray that they have. Because right now I'm running quite a bit behind in doing these tasks because you're asking too much of me and I don't quite know where to go first. My tendency is to nurture not to confront people. I'm a nurturer by nature. And that's why this is taking a little longer, but I have to do the job and I'm going to do it. So I'm going to send this message, and we're going to leave it there on the phone tree for you. And you know that it's on the video, and we're going to follow up on a number of calls. And if for any reason we don't call you quickly enough individually, now know that you're going to get a call, and hopefully with other women present. And that's the best way to do it. But the most important thing is you have to know that by your not coming here, you are endangering me and your world and everybody that you've ever known. I can't mince words about it. It is that simple. You're endangering your entire story of your family that came before you for thousands of generations, probably millions of generations, by not understanding that in this generation, we had to learn to stop practicing patriarchy. Our technologies are simply too dangerous to allow us to continue that practice. So I'm going to send this message, and I've already played the musical medley. If you watch the tape, you'll see that. I've already played that because I do want to honor Mother, Father, Goddess, God. This goes beyond our personal families and our own experiences, as important as family clusters of community, of family that we are. It goes to the heart of the universe, which is the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, everywhere. And I honor them, and I am honoring them for you. And I'm speaking the name of the Mother, Father, Goddess, God, the great Shekinah, that is the yin and yang, that is in everything. I honor them. And I honor especially the Shekinah because she was forgotten for the most recent thousands of years. And the Shekinah wants me to do that. The great Shekinah. So I'm going to send this message on the stereo version.
To save this message, press 1. Your greeting has been saved. To change extension type, press 1. To record extension name, press